Welcome back to The Advocate's Voice. As we approach the FCTC CoP11 being held this November in Geneva, things have been heating up in Asia Pacific.
A new WHO report highlights a number of health risks of electronic cigarettes.
There is no doubt the WHO will ramp up their anti-e-cig stance.
The federal government today warned Americans not to use e-cigarettes.
And the same old lies.
In terms of heart and lung disease, it's looking about as bad as smoking.
Clampdowns, misinformation, and attacks on tobacco harm reduction will continue.
Tensions rising between Thailand and Cambodia, with deadly clashes breaking out along the country's disputed border.
In Thailand, while work was progressing on a regulatory framework for safer nicotine products, a border skirmish with Cambodia has led to the entire process being shelved, as the Prime Minister and her cabinet have all resigned as of August. In Australia, the Alive advocacy group announced the winner of the Golden Briefcase Award for outstanding services to organised crime and to the Australian government.
Thanks very much.
For yet another cigarette tax hike, a policy so ineffective, so predictable, and so profitable for the black market that flies in the face of harm reduction.
We're averaging a couple of arsons a week. In my 30 years of policing, this is something unique.
Everyone I know is doing it. Everyone I know that smokes is buying illicit tobacco because of the price.
Police are this afternoon searching for arsonists responsible for firebombing a Wollongong tobacconist.
2 arsonists are on the run after shops at Patterson Lakes were firebombed.
In the city's north, firebombed for a second time, the 28th shop targeted so far this year.
One of the biggest failures in Australian history, really.
As of August, Australia has already had over 250 firebombings of tobacconists, with more to undoubtedly come. This increase in burglaries and firebombings is a direct result of prohibition, proof that these policies do not work. A new plague has been sweeping the world, etomidate and ketamine, also known as K-pods or zombie vapes.
Offenders dealing vapes laced with drugs such as etomidate could face jail, caning, and higher fines under the Misuse of Drugs Act.
Eyes everywhere as Singapore's war against vaping heats up. Frontline staff at MRT stations and on buses will conduct more back checks and patrols to catch those carrying vapes.
Enforcement officers across multiple government agencies in Singapore are stepping up efforts to catch vape offenders.
These illicit vapes are causing chaos throughout Asia. Transiting travelers through Singapore never had issues with vapes before. However, now they are in the firing line of Singapore's new war on drugs. Vapes will be confiscated and large fines imposed, so travelers be aware.
If you're an abuser, we tend to approach you with drugs and now here vapes as someone who needs treatment.
The government's dismissal of harm reduction and hardline war on drugs has not stopped an already existing black market trade that puts people's lives in danger. Prohibition always leads to illicit markets that cause public harm. Harm reduction denialism never ends well. The inaugural Asia Forum on Nicotine was held online on August 27th. This event focused on scientific, consumer, and regulatory issues in the Asia-Pacific region.
I'm glad you highlighted what has happened in Singapore in the sense that in terms of punitive actions, they've escalated it to making vaping, its distribution, its use even, I would say, into a criminal offense and pushing it into like a category 1 narcotic. You know, that's pretty harsh. And whether it would have the desired effect, I'm not so sure because, as Sharifa knows well, because of the ban that's been in place for some time, there is a very strong illicit market and large hundreds of thousands of vapers in Singapore who get their products from Malaysia. And once again, having regulations that perhaps ensure the quality and the safety of these products may go some distance to preventing these sort of adulterated pods with various dangerous substances.
I mean, when you just look at recent events with Singapore is now treating vaping as a drugged matter. So people are going to go to prison for that. People are going to be punished for that. People are going to be fined, prosecuted. When you see what's happening in places like Hong Kong, where they're having body cameras to catch people vaping in the wrong areas and things like that. These are things that can cause harm. When you criminalize something, it's only going to lead to harm.
Probably no other country in the world has been as extremist as Australia in terms of cigarettes and tobacco, and also vaping and other harm reduction options. And the result is that because of increasing the tax on cigarettes by 340% over 20 years, we now have, by some estimates, half of the cigarette trade is supplied by the black market. By other estimates, 39%. It's huge.
So bans don't work. They don't work at all. It never worked. It's never going to work. It's just going to drive everything underground and make it more risky for everyone.
We remind everyone that Asia Pacific has the highest number of global tobacco users, 781 million people, representing 63% of the global total. We also have governments heavily invested in tobacco growing and manufacturing, and the most restrictive policies and outright bans on safer nicotine products. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and keep advocating.